4 miles. Keep Dexter Street. Turn right. Flight 17 west.
Good day, everyone. Today is September 29, 2019. My name is Steve Lofton II, your moderator, and this is Liberia Destiny Debaters at All, seeking Liberia's destiny through savoured public political discourses in its totality, free of threats, insults, name-calling, or personal attacks. Our guest tonight is Honorable Acarous Moses Gray, CDC, District Number 8, House of Representatives in Montserrado County. Honorable Gray, it is a pleasure to have you on tonight.
Thank you very much. As usual, let me say on behalf of Number 8, Montserrado County, that's the district, if I will reference, people in our district as the ATOS. And interestingly, our district, we have argued is the most political district in terms of having the 3 branches of government headquarters there, making national decisions for our country. And with over 4 universities, 8 ministries, and agencies of government, and also with the highest number of registered voters as reflected in the National Elections Commission voter registration. So I'm happy to be on air. And I just also want to apologize that I'm leaving New York and I had to make it my duty to be on this line. So I hope that we'll have a cordial discussion tonight. And especially that we'll be able to stick to the subject matter on a discussion.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous Moses Gray, CDC, Montserrado County, District Number 8. Honorable Gray, I'm going to go ahead and open the lines for questioning here, and then we'll take the first one. Before we do that, let me ask you, you have been one of the people that have been from Rebel Salif to resign. Now that he has resigned, is that the end of nepotism in Liberia?
Let me reiterate my initial position before departing from Liberia. I asked the president to go further because the resignation of her son is insufficient. And the reason why I say it's insufficient because the president advocated in the 70s and the 80s. She advocated against nepotism, especially during the Trump administration. So my argument is that coming to state power as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, head of state and head of government, she must do everything to battle nepotism. She cannot. The resignation is necessary to be direct. It does not end nepotism. What it does is that the president still has her sons in government, one NSA, one deputy governor, and other relatives are in the system. So it doesn't at all. If the president wants to battle corruption, Article 5, nepotism, Article 50 of the Liberian Constitution calls for the president issue an executive order. It's easier to get an executive order than to get a legislation passed. Because the decision of an executive order comes with one person making that decision. The decision of getting a legislation comes with 130 persons from diverse political background. So the Constitution here says either an executive order or a legislation. So I believe that with nepotism in the ballot, if the president issues an executive order or the legislation is seeking to curtail, to prevent nepotism is passed. So Mr. Selly's resignation is insufficient, not only on the issue of nepotism, but he has to be audited on the basis of finances that were being used to construct football fees, to build latrines, to build hand pumps, especially during the period of campaign. Because we all know that Mr. Selly did not leave the United States of America with millions of dollars. So the question is, where did he get the money from? We need to know the source of the money, and if it is the Chevron development, social development money, then he has to be audited, because no one person should make a decision without budgetary approval. So basically, I believe that his resignation is insufficient to battle nepotism or battle the abuse of state resources.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous Moses Gray. Ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. That's taxes on your phone to be a part of this program. Honorable Gray, we're going to take the first one. The first one will come from caller. That's 9386. Your name and where you're calling from. 9386. Are you with us? Caller 9386.
Yes, sir. My name is Sam Adjavon.
How are you, Sam?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Hi, Honorable Gray. My name is Sam Adjavon, and it's good to interacting with you tonight. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, Sam.
Great. I just have two questions. Our first question is, can you tell us what the makeup of your constituency is? And after doing so, can you tell us what have you done in terms of legislation that you have formulated or have introduced that will help to alleviate the condition of your constituency? Thank you.
Can I respond?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
My district number 8, like in my introductory statement, we have the highest number of registered voters in Liberia. Not only that, but many a time people have argued that the slum communities in Monrovia are West Point and Nukuta. But I can say to you that in my electoral district, a lot of disadvantaged communities. Those communities range from Bush Quarters, Sony Warren, Slipway, Rock Spring Valley, where you call Bishop Roads, Jarlastown, Blanco, Siltown, the Bassa community terrain. So those are all heavily densely populated communities. And on the issue of what I have done, my duty and function, first and foremost, is to make laws, to have oversight and make a proper representation for my people. And interestingly, Liberia is a unitary state, so most of the bills we submit, those bills will affect the 38,000 square miles of the Republic of Liberia. And only one or two of those bills will directly be restricted to your electoral district. On the basis of that, when we closed on last month, fortunately, I submitted a bill to establish a national children's hospital for the Republic of Liberia. And in that bill, requested for the training of doctors that will take care of kids. We also, in that bill, identified the venue, and that venue should be the old maternity center, so the structure still exists. What you call the health ministry now, or the former or children's hospital on the Chaff Theater. So not only does the passage of that bill in the House of Representatives is Senate Concord, we only affect the health situation of children in our district, but it will help Liberia as a whole. And another significant issue that we did on the basis of representation, as you can recall, when I was inducted into office January of 2012, the first letter I wrote to the plenary was a letter inviting the Liberian Electricity Corporation management team. President Cty committed herself to provide electricity during her first term within 6 months for Monrovia. Unfortunately, Monrovia remains the biggest and darkest city around the world. So I have made my responsibility on the basis of representation to see why it is that Conjunction Road that hosts almost the highest number of Liberian schools does not have electricity as I speak to you. Why is it that a significant portion of capital bypass also and other avenues in the single belt, Slavewood and other areas where other electricity? So again, I wrote a letter again during the second sitting, and the management team, they explained the plight. We understood the condition situation. Right after that 2 days, the president drove to the Liberian Electricity Management team, and the poles have been planted now as I speak to you, steel poles. So under my administration for the last 2 years, there were communities in my district that never had electricity or semblance of electricity that can boast of some semblance of electricity as I speak to you. But it is challenging. It's a national government issue and not a district issue. So I succeeded in that. On the issue of goodwill, I cannot catalog but I can say to you that you remember when the government ordered that Richard Nixon School should close. This gone academic year, I ensured that Richard Nixon, yes, a private school, not a public school, not under NCSS. We ensured that some money was placed in the budget. That was my direct advocacy to maintain the opening of Richard Nixon. And as I speak to you now, Richard Nixon is undergoing renovation as I speak to you currently. So on the issue of rehabilitating latrines, constructing bridges or footpaths in my electoral district, providing scholarship, we succeeded. I can boast of having over 400 students on scholarship for the last 2 years. When I say scholarship, I'm talking about full payment. So these are amongst the few issues that we started what we call community cleaning up programs. And most of those gains are usually out of place on my Facebook page or newspapers. So the evidence of our gains are seen. So to ask what I've done for the people of District Number 8, I thought the question is that I've done for the Republic of Liberia. You know, I introduced the Code of Conduct under Article 90C of the Constitution. It calls for a Code of Conduct on how officials and employees of government. I was one of those who advocated for the passage of the Decent Work Bill that would provide security for people and provide better incentives. On the issue of the disabled, we ensured that there is a bill there for disabled people. In fact, I was one of the strong advocates, and as a result of that, I was placed on a session because there was diversion of views. So just to name a few, and probably as we go through the process, we'll be able to have series of debate and discussions. But it's just a few of what we've been able to do for the last 2 years as I speak to you.
Thank you, Honorable Great. Cora, do you have recommendations or a further comment to what the Honorable just said?
Yes, I just have a comment. I think there was a kind of difference in interpretation of the question I asked the Honorable. It might be something like semantics or so, but what I'm actually saying is, well, I didn't ask for the geography of where you represented. I was typically asking for what is the composition of your constituency. Are they working class people? Is there a high unemployment rate? Is there a high literacy rate? What are you doing? What have you done in terms of legislation that would kind of address address their concerns, address their issues, their suffering that they're going through every single day. How many schools do you have in your area? What's the ratio is about kids in school? Health care, and those are the things I'm trying to get from the senator. The representative. He's talking about Liberia being a unitary state. If Liberia is a unitary state and we have representatives just going there to represent the entire Liberia, then there shouldn't be any need for demarcating areas to say that you are representing this area because you're going there to make legislation for the entire country. You are representing your people, sir. The people voted you because they are concerned. There are promises you made to them. What are those things that you said to them? What are the things that you saw that they needed, that you addressed, that you want? That's what I'm asking about, sir.
Okay, I give one because question was ambiguous when you said, what is the composition of your district? I don't think there was any ambiguity in that question, sir. No, you just said what the composition. So the composition could be in terms of the geographic composition. So, but now you're making it specific. Now you have been specific. Let me again reiterate that any laws that are passed will not only affect your district. These are the realities of the day. But you're asking about the health situation of my district. The health situation of my district, like in Liberia, is deplorable. I can say that to you, it's deplorable. Not only restricted to district number 8. That's where I presented that bill to help seek the welfare of my people on the establishment of a national children's hospital for Liberia. You asked on the basis of the commitments I made to my people. I'm on course with those commitments. I don't people that I will construct bridges where there are no waters. I said to them, I will create a reading room in district number 8, Montserrado Cty. I'm on course. That's one of the reasons why I'm in the United States of America trying to get books to have the reading room open. I already have the area to have the reading room open. I have some books in Liberia, and I'm gathering some of those books. I mainly want academic books where school-going children will be able to benefit from those books. So we are on course with that. We also committed ourselves to advocating for the position of the people. On record for that. I think you speak to the campaign promises I made to my people. I also committed that I will present the bill to battle nepotism. I'm also on record for submitting that. I'm on record, you spoke of campaign promises, to present few other bills, and what are those bills? Where most likely will make a vocational technical education compulsory, most likely in senior high school, public senior high schools. So again, I will be working on that bill. So in terms of commitment to my people, on the issue of education, I spoke of a reading room. My duty and function is to stay on behalf of, yes, we have many schools, and I've been making series of donations to those schools that include Montserrado College, FM Reed, Topman High School, G.W. Gibson School, the rest are there, Montserrado Demonstration Elementary School. You can check the records out. The Radical Market School, the Jobatan Market School in St. Louis. I committed 200,000 Liberian dollars to the Jobatan Market School for 35 students. SDU, the school that I graduated from, I'm constructing a basketball court there as I speak to you to see how the kids can have some other things, not just academic. So there are many. There are many other institutions we've been able to help. So I think specifically what we've been able to do about education and what we are doing about education. And I have committed myself that when I return, most likely I will be teaching to senior high schools. They are junior and senior high schools. I have to give back to them because I taught for 9 years before joining the Congress for Democratic Change. So I have been a classroom teacher, and I understand the situation in the classroom. So those are the few things in terms of the health issue. I provided a little over 20,000 United States dollar worth of jobs to the Southern one during this year. So those are the things, those are the commitments I made to my people, because, mind you, I'm not going to make commitments that I cannot fulfill, commitments that has to be a national agenda in terms of calling the country. I'm not going to make big mistakes. So again, when you get into the think of the rules are being rehabilitated, many of the avenues are being rehabilitated. Those are some of the steps we took, and that is a national project, not a national issue. So I think active on those are basically some of what we've done to directly affect the last bit of people in District Number 8, Montserrado County.
So, Cora, Achivon, we're going to go to you. We'll give you a minute for you to give your recommendation or make further comment to your questions. We're not taking a question from you again. And to Honorable Gray, we ask that you kind of condense it a little bit, because we have a lot of people staying in the queue here, and this is the first quarter here. So, our first person. Yeah, go ahead.
My recommendation is for those in the legislature to understand that despite we have one country, they have been elected by a certain group of people based on the needs and aspirations that those people have. And by them being in the legislature, they have to make sure and understand that they can make laws or they can pass budgetary appropriation that will affect the lives of their people. They can make appropriations in budget and even create supplemental budgets that will be directed to specific areas within their own constituencies, and not sit there and let the mediocrity continue to exist in the legislature. And so that's my recommendation to Representative Gray. You have to have a new perspective when it comes to being a member of the legislature in terms of creating laws that would, in the first place, directly affect your constituency. If the people need jobs, you're pass a bill that will appropriate certain percentage of something to your community, so that at the end of the day, they have a street in your community that may be as a result of the bill that you passed, that you appropriated $100,000 in there to build, maybe improve the sewer system in your area. Those are things that you guys need to start to focus on, rather than sitting there and talking about passing a bill for Children's Hospital. For the Republic of Liberia.
Thank you. Thank you. Margaret, that's the recommendation for you.
I accept the recommendation, though you have been very dissonant towards the legislature using the word mediocre. Unfortunately, this is one of the best competitive House of Representatives in our political history. And let me just go further on your recommendation. Yes, in the budget, we appropriated, before this budget, when we went to the first budget we passed, we appropriated no less than 100,000 or 3 universities in our district besides the University of Liberia, 100,000 each, to have subsidized. So there are other school systems that in our district are also subsidized through the budget. So to begin to argue that the issue of job creation, I'm not going to mislead you here, it's very challenging. So except we have a national policy, and I'll be frank with you, you cannot perform miracles in the legislature. A single individual cannot perform a miracle. So I hope sometimes one of these days you have the opportunity maybe to advise some of your colleagues you have in the legislature, in the executive, but to use the word mediocratic is unfortunate. It's extremely unfortunate, because you have some of the best minds that have been able to change the dynamics of the border politics in Liberia, challenging the status quo to ensure that we have a competitive system of balance of power between the House of Representatives and the executive. And you witness that this movement, which is a classic example of balance of power. So I don't, in the history of the legislature, you saw that. So again, let me say thank you for your recommendations. And I will take those recommendations, where many of the recommendations have been addressed on the basis of political approval.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Liberia Destiny Debaters Network. My name is Deep Flama. I will be at control. And with us tonight is the Honorable Acarous Moses Great, CDC District Number 8, House of Representatives in Montserrado County. Our topics tonight are the resignation of Rival Sally from Nokia, Mullard and Class C protest, protest call for President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to resign, dual citizenship, TRC report, running fear, reconciliation, nepotism, corruption, CDC now and beyond 2014, unemployment, decentralization, and more. Please dial *61 on your phone. We're going to take the next one. The next one will come from 2318. Your name and where you calling from?
Excuse me. This is Alexander Walker. I'm calling from Minneapolis. Thank you, Representative, for being on the show. Why I squeeze in my question, I would also like to squeeze in this. For the past few weeks, I have come up with few words to describe the Liberian legislative branch, and every time I get an opportunity to meet one of you, I would like to repeat those words. Beating of police officer, assault on private citizen, stealing of county development funds, traffic violation, misuse of contempt charges, incapable of addressing corruption and nepotism, greedy, self-centered, lack of initiative. Thank you for hearing the words. Now, my question here. The two biggest things we have been talking about since the inception of this show and in most of the papers in Liberia have been corruption and nepotism. And my question on corruption here is why is it that the legislators are directly involved with funds that got to do with the county development, social development fund? And I need an example of any legislative branch in the world that does that. That's my question on corruption. And nepotism, I've been very, very frustrated on how nepotism has been addressed in Liberia. Nepotism has always been child said, Rival Sally. You as a representative, what have you or your party done or plan to do to address nepotism in the first branch of government? Because it is heavily present, including members of your own party.
Go ahead, Honorable Greg.
Yeah, I love your closing statement because it's a strong hypothesis. However, let me state to you clearly that on the issue of nepotism, what has the Congress of Democratic Change done, or what have I done? We submitted a bill to battle nepotism in the three branches of government and every agency and ministry of government in the Republic of Liberia. The bill is not intended to target the executive, make no mistake. The bill is for all branches of government that will practice nepotism. So I think you must first and foremost applaud the mighty Congress of Democratic Change lawmaker and the CDC on the basis of a political manifesto for submitting a bill since 1986 when the Constitution of Liberia came into force. No lawmaker has presented a bill or attempted to present a bill to battle nepotism. So we are on record for fighting nepotism in every branches of government. I have no relative that work in my office. The records are available, and you can check that. I have no blood relative working in my office, being the progenitor of that bill. On the issue of the county social development fund, it's unfortunate for you to say that lawmakers are directly involved into that. There is a budget law, not under the budget law, but there are procedures. No lawmaker is a signatory to the county development fund of the Republic of Liberia or the social development funds. No lawmaker executes the county development fund or the social development funds. It falls within the purview of the superintendent and administration. There is a team from the district that is elected by community leaders that work along with that board. What we do, we exercise oversight. We do not spend. Just for a project to be implemented in any electoral district in Liberia, it means that it should go through the PPCC. There should be a comprehensive bidding process, not by the legislative branch of government. So anybody can bid to execute those projects. So to argue that the lawmakers are directly involved into executing the kind of development fund is unfortunate. Let me tell you, since 2009, Montserrado Cty Development Fund remains untouched. Since 2009. Because by then the superintendent had the exclusive authority to execute the county development funds. Since 2009, the development fund remained untouched. I can speak to that, I can say to you. It's of late that a series of meetings have been held where the superintendent has agreed that there should be a comprehensive bidding process that will go on so that those projects will earmark to our people. Those projects that were earmarked by the people, what they agree upon, sign a resolution. They themselves, community leaders got together, sign resolutions. Those resolutions are not resolutions of the lawmakers. They are resolutions of the community leadership on what they want in their community and presented to the superintendent and her team. And we call the project management team and project management committee, along with the superintendent. So for somebody to argue that lawmakers are directly involved into the execution, no lawmaker has that authority, I can tell you that. If any lawmaker does that, then probably it's almost a miracle, and the superintendent should be held liable, because it's not possible to get directly involved into executing the laws that are on the book. And no lawmaker has usurped such a function of the superintendent. All that we've done, we've been inviting them and asking tough questions. Why these kind of development funds or social development funds are not being used in the supreme interest of the people? And we represent our people, and when our people cast a resolution on what they want, my duty and function is to pick up that mandate and execute that mandate. We are all ensuring that those who are responsible will do that. I think people have been misinformed about this whole county and social development funds. I think that there's big misinformation on that. So I just thought to get it correct here that our lawmakers don't execute. Yes, the executive has that function and they do that. What we do is oversight. So again, on the issue of citizen, I think the question is answered, and I think you should be applauding the Mighty Congress for Democratic Change for taking the courage to submit a bill on nepotism. And I think you need to call on all Liberians, including the president, who has battled nepotism, and a situation that become an irony of situation as I speak to you, not fighting nepotism, but maybe issue an executive order quicker, or join off and ask all of our lawmakers in the House of Representatives to support the cause to battle nepotism.
Thank you, Senator Moses Acarous. Moses Gray. Cora, you got a minute for your recommendation or comment here.
Yeah, my recommendation to the lawmaker is that the reason for me saying what I said about the county development fund is that if you've been watching the news lately or even in the past, there have always been clashes between members of the executive branch and something that had to do with this money issue. What I would recommend is you can provide oversight, city capital building, provide oversight, and stay under some of the contracts. That will bring some clarity. That will take away corruption. Nobody will have to be giving money under the table and stuff like that. Concerning nepotism, I will also recommend, I will first of all tell you thanks from taking the initiative of proposing a bill, putting a bill forward. But putting a bill forward is just the first step. I can tell you there are members within the CDC who got relatives of theirs hired in their offices. So you can start. In order for CDC to take full credit, you can start with your own members as an example, and we all would join you in the fight of nepotism. And just to get certain things correct here, Madam Cty's son at the bank was in government before his mother became president. He's a Liberian. He deserves all right to stay where he is. You can argue with Robert Sellies, you can talk with Fuba Sellies. If I were president, I would have my son taking care of my security. Let us face reality, let's be real. Robert Sellies is fair game. But the other two, I don't think they are fair game because you would do the same, I would do the same, and that they are qualified Liberians, they deserve the right. Something concerning the code of conduct, I think you took some credit for that. I agree, maybe you might have been in the process for the final stage of passage of the code of conduct. But I think the code of conduct was a bill initiated before you begin like that. I just wanted to get that part of the record straight. Thank you for initiating the bill, and we all pray that that bill goes through because at least we'll stop hearing the Robert Sellies story, and remember the first branch of government will have to clean up their offices too. Thanks.
Thank you. Honorable Gray, we're going to...
Let me speak to you, my friend. We have to be very objective. When we commit ourselves to the people of a country and when we advocate, we must not contradict those advocacies. We must not. To argue that President Sellies' sons in government, she appointed Charles Sellies as deputy then governor. It was not the past government. But I do not want to dwell on her sons because I can tell you she debated against Tuttle for running the most dictatorial government by then. She has come to contradict herself. So if I were, like you said, in a position, I would not take my brother from the United States of America and make him a security. I won't do that. I can tell you I want you to put me on record for that. So we cannot contradict ourselves for what we stand for. On the issue of citizen lawmakers that Ukraine to have their relatives in our office, I hope that you could in the future know some of those lawmakers. But this is not a citizen struggle. There's a struggle for the Liberian people. It's a struggle to battle corruption. It's a struggle in President Sellies was to battle corruption, and corruption, she declared corruption January 16, 2006 as public enemy number one. But corruption now has become public friend number one. And what is she doing about battling corruption? She must execute the laws. So these are the issues. So for us to sit on this program and say that we will do the same thing, some of us to appoint our brothers because they are qualified, I think the framework of the Constitution, the Liberian people who voted for the endorsement of the Constitution of Liberia of 1986, saw Article 5C of the Constitution. Article 5C is clear that we must pass law to prevent nepotism. All of them must issue executive order. So for somebody to say that the Constitution, they have the right to work, yes, they have the right to work, but they don't have the right to work under a sports system. They don't have the right to work when the Constitution says we must prevent nepotism in our political history. So I would love to use this occasion again, reaffirm my commitment and the commitment of so many Liberians, including the Congress of Democratic Change, for taking the courage, yes, to present a bill on nepotism. And that bill is not intended for Mr. Robert Sellies, Fuma Sellies, or Charles Sellies. The bill is intended to wrap up nepotism. We didn't say you cannot work in government, but your relatives that are in higher positions should not appoint you or influence any decision to have you appointed in government. That's what the bill says. The bill does not say President Sellies cannot work in government, but President Sellies or Acarous must not influence a decision to appoint his or her family or also appoint his or her family to this position. That's what the bill says. And America is a classic example of that. You live in America and you see why they are about nepotism. You talk about good governance. We must all rise up to the occasion and not to be sycophantic, but to ensure that our country moves forward. And for Liberia to move forward, we have to go beyond individual interests. But we must protect the supreme national interests of the Republic of Liberia. And that's why we seek to protect distinguished ladies and gentlemen on this call today.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous. Moses Gray, that's a CDC, District Number 8. Honorable Gray, we have a lot of people in the queue here, so please try to narrow a little bit. We're going to take the next one. The next one will come from 7627. Your name and where you calling from?
My name is Yuan Pema. I'm calling from California.
How are you, my brother?
Oh, I'm all right, Honorable Gray. How are you doing today?
How are you, Mr. Freeman? It's a pleasure.
Yeah, you know, I'm not on your side. I'm not in your party. But I don't want
to.
No,
you don't have to. You don't have to. There's Liberia.
The last caller, that's complete nonsense and foolishness. The comment he just made. I'll leave it at that. You took your own honorable time to even address it. I'll leave it at that. Foolishness about Robert Salif and Ellen Salif's son. I'll leave it at that.
Please try to be respectful to the next caller.
No,
that
I
is
say it was foolishness and nonsense.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that is his opinion. That is his opinion. We don't take insults.
Yeah, my opinion or his opinion is foolish and nonsense to address the honorable like that. All right, let me come to my questions. I think I got about 6, 7 questions, but I'll go fast. First, honorable, what is the profit sharing? Can you just take a few seconds to answer that on the oil contract? What's the profit sharing? You guys rectify the contract. I want to know how much the Liberian government get.
My distinguished brother, let me speak to you again. But I was one of those who first I stood firm even before Block 13 because the other blocks, I was not a lawmaker when those agreements were being ratified. So I will speak to Block 13 that was ratified. I'm on record for disagreeing with the passage of Block 13. So my position has been very unbending and unwavering on that.
But can you tell me how much Liberian government got out of that Block 13 in terms of the percentage of the profit?
In terms of public participation, is like 5%.
Oh, that's crazy. That's extremely crazy. All right.
So I disagree with that. I'm happy. Let me just conclude on this. That I
got more questions though.
Yeah, there is a reform document now, and we are going to take that document to our constituent, and I hope that some of you, if that document is made public, could make some recommendations for the oil sector to be reformed.
You know, the little back. I'm not a lawyer, but that agreement appears to be unconscionable. If it's unconscionable, it's voidable. You can't pass. You can't. Not constitution. I mean that contract. You can't pass a contract. Government forget 5%. It's better to just keep the resources until you can train your own people and find people and get a better deed. Those are the type of deed that Robert Salif made. And then going to that, you know, the next question is there a declaration of assets for government officials?
Yes, definitely. It's a policy issue. Through the executive, the LSCC has asked every government official to declare assets. But because the code of conduct has not been totally passed in terms of concurring, one branch has passed it, but in the code of conduct, it's compulsory by law. It will become compulsory by law. That's the policy issue. But let me just roll on it quick.
No, don't take my time. I got a lot of questions. Please, go ahead.
Before you
we are going to take just 2. We are going to take 2 from you. That's it tonight.
Yeah, before you are placed on the ballot paper for all those who want to contest, whether you win or not. It's the National Elections Commission requirement that you must declare your assets. So probably if you go on the website of the National Elections Commission, I think they should have that all there. So before we became lawmaker, whether you won or you lost the process, you should have declared your assets.
Okay, good. Now I'll comment on that. On the confirmation of officials of government, I think you guys kind of overlook it. You guys don't even do background check. Take you for example, the head of JFK, it was a medical record clerk. I don't even think she even a college graduate. The former police director before Chris Massacre, he was fired by the LAPD for corruption. And look, Raul Salih left that position. The guy that acting for him, I don't know, he got no strategic knowledge of oil. You guys shouldn't just sit down and just pass anything to send to you.
But you raise an issue on the basis of people academic credentials. I do not
academic, but experience-wise too.
Experience-wise, I do not confirm. I cannot speak for the Senate. I hope that we could have a senator on the line because personally, I have some fundamental problems with some of the confirmations and I'm on record for speaking against some people and asking for some of these people not to be confirmed. So, but confirmation is not within my purview. I'm a representative, so we do not confirm.
Okay, I know you don't have
Father,
2 minutes.
we're going to give you 30 more seconds for either a recommendation or comment. We have to
all right,
move forward.
Let me ask my question in 30 seconds. I know you're...
No, we're not. It's not a question. We're going to take a recommendation or a comment from you, not a question again.
How many minutes I have, man? Don't cut me all of that, man.
No,
okay.
You got 30 seconds. What you do is you're trying to drag the process. You come with one question at a time, and you drag it on. We know these things. We've been around a while. So please give me your 30 seconds, please.
Okay. Now, I asked a question yesterday. I'll bring that up or before you answer my question. Robert Saliv, the FBI conducted an investigation according to allafrica.com. That article was on April 5th, 2013 for $2.5 billion. And have you read that article? It's been taken down now. I haven't heard any comment to the contrary. Nobody made a statement about the article. Okay. And I know you're addressing the nepotism problem. In addition to that, in light also, Prince Johnson made a comment about Ellen Johnson corrupting the election process. What action are you guys taking to make sure that these things don't occur in the future? Especially as an auditor, I've been an auditor for 30 years, a certified public accountant. If you guys want to audit Robert Saliv, ask for his tax return when he left the state. It will show you what he's worth. And ask for his asset now. You compare the difference and see where the other assets came from. But the $2.5 billion that were published in the paper that the FBI was investigating, nobody made any comment about it. The only comment I got about the guy said yesterday, the Liberian government can't even make $1 billion. But I know you can sign an all-D. You can sign an all-D and get an upfront percentage. And the president got involved to sign all these all-Ds, all the World Gizi project, and then she says she got a technical team. They get an upfront percentage to fly off and get this money put in the foreign banks. Then they come back and send paperwork to you guys to rectify it. But you only one person from your party over there, and they've been controlled. I mean, I think she's controlling the legislature. I would agree with the people she's controlling you guys. You guys need to be strong and make sure this corruption comes to an end. So just comment on that. I got a lot of questions, but I'll leave it.
Thank you again. Probably you read the website of 2.some billion. Though Mr. Saliv denied that. But I also raised an issue of the Chevron development funds, a little over 10 million. And how that money been expanded, how much has been spent, and I have called for an audit. In my opening statement, I said that before I left Liberia, when Mr. Saliv resigned, right after his press briefing, in 20 minutes, I also have a nationwide press briefing to the media requesting the government to have him audited. So I agree with you on that we need to do that. We need to do something about that. And people must not take state resources and go free. So we all need to join the advocacy. And again, let me just point out quick. The CDC does not control the House of Representatives, nor does the CDC control the House of Senate. The rule of establishment has the highest number of persons. You are fully cognizant of that. So, but at least I can say that the House of Representatives makes some strides, in my opinion.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous Moses Gray. Honorable Gray, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from 6494. Your name and where you calling from? 2 minutes.
My name is Jerry Guanapadolo, calling from the state of Delaware.
You're welcome to the show tonight.
Good evening, Mr. Gray. First of all, I just say my thanks and appreciation to you for the hard work that you do. I always follow you on Facebook, for cleaning so anywhere, and also for your education when to school, you know. I really salute you for that, and keep up the courage. I think one time I follow you, and I tell you that when I come to Liberia, I let you join the same thing with you, you know. That shows that the kind of man you are and where you came from, you know, you don't forget your past. And I really, really applaud you for that. Thank you, sir. I got a couple of questions for you, Mr. Gray. My first question to you is, the party for which you represent, the CDC, the former Senate Bureau and the former Vice Presidential Bureau, George Okonwe, what rally do he want? The reason why I ask you this question is he's running for senatorial post, and this man he has been made peace ambassador. Yeah, this man be trusted with the country and we'll give that we can give it to him. And my next question to you is, did you guys go there to enrich yourself from we the poor people? You said you were a teacher. How much did you make? And how much you making now? And my last question to you, sir.
We will take 2 questions, please. Let's take those 2. Or you gave 3, then we the honorable mayor will take 2 from the 3.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gray. Those are my questions to you.
Thank you.
Okay, I start with the second question. I taught SDA school. I tutored and taught SDA for 9 years, the Seventh-day Adventist High School. And the bulk of my contribution was free of charge, because that's where I got it from. The bulk of my contribution, the records are there, you can check those records. And on the issue of Ambassador Weah, though it was not the subject matter because there are talking points, I hope the host could read all those talking points. But Ambassador Weah and the Congress of Democratic Change wants the presidency. And there are steps of historical gradualism to get presidency. So we are on track of that. So to say what we want, yes, we want the presidency. And we think that if we get the presidency, there will be transformation. I'm convicted about that. So on the issue of he contesting on the issue of he being peace ambassador, definitely he's the peace ambassador, but at the same time he has his right under the laws to contest. And I'm one of those. I'm one of those who are encouraging to contest the seat. We want to change the border politics and the dynamism of politics in Liberia. For example, in America, many of the time out of governors, senators, or elected people become president. So we need to create a stronger independent legislature where the 2 opposition leaders will be in the legislature. And I believe with the process of the 2 opposition leaders in the legislature, we could create a competitive system because your output could definitely make a determination of where you go in for the presidency. So I believe that we can do that. We need a crack team in the legislature. The legislature has many authorities. So until those authorities are used by very firm, independent-minded people who are in there, I believe. You talk about poor people, my friend. I'm not a rich fellow, and I will not boast of wealth. Because many of what I make, I give back to my community and my society, and the records are there. So I'm not a rich guy.
The other one is about George Weah. So since we are not talking about George Weah here, I will give him the opportunity to ask a different question. Cora, give one more question, and let's not talk about George Weah. He's not on our talking point tonight.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, this is my next question to you, sir. In the national legislature, one representative from, if I remember well, from Maryland County. You know, I'm a strong advocate of dual citizenship. And his name is Don Morano, if I'm right, a senator from Maryland County. He said he preferred giving citizenship to a Lebanese man who created jobs for the Liberian people than the Liberian people who fled the country and he cannot give them citizenship. Now, my question to you, Mr. Gray, what is your take on that? If you support citizenship, since the citizenship issue came up, all the newspapers that we have read, we haven't spoken about it. And you are known to be a vocal speaker. And this is a place where we, the speechless people, where our power lies in your hand. What have you done for us, we, the speechless people, sir?
Again, my distinguished brother, I'm on record for encouraging the issue of dual citizenship in our country with some caveats. I'm on record for that, with some caveats. Because even in the United States of America, citizenship comes with certain immunities. When you are naturalized, you know those immunities you have, and so forth. So
But I just have to say to you that I'm on record for supporting it. And but I think the thing is this, that we in the people in the diaspora will have to do more to convince disadvantaged Liberians, to convince people in the slums, to convince your brothers back home. Because I know, in my opinion, what benefit it will bring to Liberia if we do recognize dual citizenship. I know what benefit it will bring to Liberia. And I've been one of those, in fact, initially when the issue of dual citizenship that they introduced by one of my friends, Diallo Tish, Councilor Diallo Tish in the United States of America there, I was one of the petitioners. So I was one of the petitioners. So again, let me speak to you that take for example, there are people who leave the diaspora, go to Liberia, work in the system, and I'm sorry to say this, but in terms of the output, in terms of integrity, these are some of the things that people question back home. You know, there's a big sentiment, and I have to be brutally frank, about people back home and people in the diaspora. So we have to close that gap. That's what we have to do. And I empathize with the situation of our brothers in the diaspora, not only in the United States. Some of them forcefully left Liberia. Some of them situations permitted them to acquire citizenship in other countries, probably to learn, to get better incentives, to have residence status. So I can understand the situation, and I sympathize or empathize with your situation. But then you have to launch a massive public relation on the progenitors, those who are advocating, to launch a massive public relation on informing the people back home. Because you are in the best position to do that. I can tell you that you are in the best position to do that. And you have influence over a lot of government officials. You have influence over people in the slums and in the ghettos to send their money back to them. So try to encourage them. I hope you could hold a big town hall meeting in communities and districts, trying to inform the people on the merits as opposed to the demerits of dual citizenship.
Thank you. Correct. Your recommendation.
So, but before you come in, you see, one of the problems I always been that sometimes there have been a big debate in Liberia. If you have dual citizenship and you commit a crime in Liberia probably, Liberia may not have jurisdiction over you at a particular point in time. So these are some of the caveats. We need to work. We need to find a solution to that. That's what we need to do.
So if that's the recommendation, then we're going to move on. Is that right?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Mr. Gray, it seems to be that, they're asking for a recommendation, but I think if you guys are ready for dual citizenship, where you guys should have done, with all the things you're looking at, all the holes you're looking at, I think you guys will close the hole, then you'll say, yes, this is the condition, this is the condition. So I don't think you guys are interested in this, so this is why you let that hole open for us to repair it. But it is not our job to repair, it's your job to repair, because this is why we elected you to do that job for us, sir. This is my recommendation to you, sir. Liberia been deplorable since 166 years old. Before you go to Basel, back in the days, you put a wedding handkerchief to your nose for disease not to catch you. We want for you guys to take the national oil money and put it in infrastructure development. Made by what? Open road from rail lines straight to Nima County, Grand Jida County, etc., etc. If you do that, sir, all your kids that see on Facebook, they will take you. History will not forget you. History will remember you for the best. And take care. Have a pleasant stay in the United States. Mr. Gray.
Thank you very much, and I thank you for your concluding statement. But there are agreements already that we have approved on building a highway from Monrovia to Ganta. So the process should start very soon. So on that issue, it has been addressed. So homes are being marked, people are being resettled, and payments are being made so that that project can begin. So on the issue of the road, and I agree with you that we cannot repeat all of our resources. We cannot do that. We need reserve. We need to look at the Norwegian model when it comes to the oil sector. We need to look at the Ghanaian model. We need to look at other countries and make a comparative analysis That's why I think the reform bill will take the center stage of debate when we return. So on the white sector. So I say thank you very much for your recommendations. But on the issue of dual citizenship, my friend, you have all the lawmakers will have to be lobbied, because people vote on the basis of what their constituents want sometimes. Because maybe your constituents may not support dual citizenship. Could be a possibility. So sometimes we tread on the high grounds. Sometimes we tread on the high grounds and convince our people in our electoral districts. So I cannot convince the Republic of Liberia because I don't represent every district. But I hope that you will talk to other representatives and senators that will be able to convince their people. But sometimes it becomes a very tough debate because people may not even understand what dual citizenship is. Some may not. It's something that dual citizenship is to make Lebanese citizens of Liberia or foreigners. That some people think to make the white citizen of our country. So sufficient explanation has to be done on the issue of dual citizenship. And don't get me wrong. What I support, I go all for it. I do not mince my words.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous. Most is great. Honorable Gray, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from 3861. Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Harris Mann, calling from Richfield, Minnesota.
Welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you. Honorable Gray, I'd like to welcome you. Before I ask my two questions, I've heard the name Acarous Gray. And what I heard is that you are one of the people who stand for justice. You want to make sure that things go right for our country. I've been out of there for 29 years. So I highly appreciate that we are looking for people like you to be there, to make sure the government is running right. Two concerns that I have. You talk about being a teacher. Did you go through teacher training, either at ZRTTR or KRTTR? That's the first question. Second question is, on the citizenship, I want to piggyback on the gentleman from California, what he was saying about citizenship. Did I understand you to say that we who are in the diaspora should be the ones who are supposed to convince your constituents on citizenship? So please clarify my doubt here, because I didn't get your response clearly on who is supposed to initiate that, who is supposed to educate the constituents. Thank you.
Let me clarify it now. I said people in the diaspora, not only in United States of America, should help in the process. You have some of your brothers there. I'm not saying you should take full responsibility. No.
All right.
I have my responsibility. I do that. I say you have your brothers sometimes that you send money down to, or family members. You can try to speak to them about how to support the process. Okay. I say even if some of you get down in Liberia, you may have influence over your community. Not because you reside in the diaspora, but some of you are opinion leaders in your various communities before you came to the diaspora. There were situations and conditions that brought some of you here. So I can understand the situation. Like I said, I sympathize and empathize with those conditions and your situation. So that is the major. The first question was what?
The first question was whether you went through teacher training. I'm asking because...
No. I didn't go to ZRTDR, nor did I go to KRTDR.
Okay.
I started tutoring people shooting guns. Okay? People were shooting guns. So I started tutoring the academic challenge team of SDA, organized a national academic challenge program for our kids to be academically challenged. And I subsequently, yes, I went to some workshops for teacher training, but I didn't go to KRTDR, nor did I go to ZRTDR. No, I didn't. And I can understand for when you speak. And I concur with you to have, where the killable are not available become killable. Have you heard that language before? The Irish.
Yeah.
So the killables probably they fled. We had a lot of foreign teachers in the country before the war.
Okay.
So probably they fled. But I did my best, and I know that I did what I could, and I have students who are taught all around the world today. maybe some of them on the call tonight. But I did my best, and I believe those results were clear. You go back to the history of SDA, what I did in that school in terms of helping the kids to realize the actual potential academically. The records are very clear, and it will be to your disbelief. Then probably a teacher that want to KRTDR or ZRTDR.
All right.
Can you give us a recommendation in a minute, Cora?
Okay. Honorable Gray, I just want to recommend that I speak as a teacher from UPI who went to the University of Liberia Graduate Teachers College, and I'm here working for the school district. I retired. And what touched me is what I'm hearing from people who have been going to Liberia and coming back, most especially the finance minister. He was here 2 months ago, I think in July. And there was a plea for trained teachers in Liberia, and this is where I want to come in. But like I said, I've left the country for a long time. I don't know how people are recruiting, professionals. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know whether there's a system set in place, what I could send in my resume to come and train teachers at ZRTTR or KRTTR to make sure, because when teachers are prepared, the students can be well prepared. And this is my passion. This is where I'm coming, but I don't know how to go about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cora.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the recommendation, and I have no comment.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Liberia's Destiny Debaters. Second show. My name is Steve of II. With us tonight is Honorable Acarous Moses Gray, CDC, District Number 8, House of Representative in Montserrado County. And our topics are Rebel Salih's resignation for Nokia, Mullah and Classy's call for Madam Salih to resign, dual citizenship, TRC report, Vernice here, reconciliation, nepotism, corruption, CDC now and beyond 2014, unemployment, decentralization. Honorable Great, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from caller 6871. Your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you, Diflo. My name is Harrison K. Soso. I'm calling from New Jersey. I have a question for the strongest opposition party on the ground, CDC, of which I'm the chairman for the state of New Jersey. Mr. Gray, my question to you is, I know you personally, and I'm a signatory to some of the documentations governing the CDC today. Thank God for that opportunity. My question to you is, you being at a hierarchy level, high level position with the CDC, and now you are serving as the people's #1 representative, as commonly called by some friends, on the ground there. I know this. I know what you are doing. Do you have any intention to contest after your term? And if so, what if there's someone from the Congress for Democratic Change willing to contest your district? Will you compromise that? If so, why or why not?
Let me say that every politician that has a vision or a dream will want to claim the laurels. That's why my signature says claiming Jacob Lawler, and I won't come down. So yes, I want to contest. And if I go to primary like I did go to primary with 5 different candidates in the CDC while serving as Secretary General of the Mighty Congress for Democratic Change, and I do not win, I was surrounded to the desire and demand of the people in a primary. I will do that. So I have encouraged a competitive system. Interestingly, in my electoral district was sustained from different political institutions that contested after I won a primary of 5 persons in the CDC. And the records are available. We won at every polling center in District Number 8, Montserrado County. So we have the overwhelming legitimacy of the people in the district. So I do not shy away from competition. That's why, in fact, I chose to be on this program. Not many persons who want to appear on the LeBlanc Destiny Debaters. Not many persons in governmental cycle. For fear of how people may approach them, for fear of how some tough questions may be asked, personal questions or national questions, but we have taken the challenge. And the history of our existence has shown that we love competition from the classroom up to politics. So anybody in the CDC who want to, you are at liberty to do that. And the primaries will make the determination.
Caller, do you have a recommendation for Honorable Gray? He still have a time 1 o'clock for you.
Yes, my recommendation and little comment is, you are right to, you just politically, alter the rightful measure through which an individual can contest by going through primary, and I do accept that. And you, as a friend and brother, I wanted to befriend you on the social media, and that shows that you are highly competitive when it comes to politics or being popular. When I send a request to you, and the media say, well, this guy have overnumbered the number of friendship, and that was a problem. I want to say thank you very much. I will follow that trend, and thank you for answering my questions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Though I'm not passing through New Jersey, and I hope you won't hold me in contempt for not stepping to your place. However, let me say to you that yes, you talk about the social media. It restricted to 5,000 persons, and I've reached that number. So I usually don't delete people. And I usually have my page open for comments, whether for or against. So I hope we can keep the line of communication ongoing. However, much cannot be done because I don't usually delete names.
Thank you, Honorable Gray. Our next caller is will come from caller 3662. Your name and where you calling from?
I'm calling from Minnesota.
Hello?
From Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. My name is Joseph Johnson.
Yes, welcome to the show tonight, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Yes, I'm calling to speak to a statement that Mr. Barney Freeman made yesterday.
Sherman.
Barney Sherman. Yes, it's so misleading, and I was waiting for my turn, but unfortunately you didn't get to my name, so I didn't speak to that. So I'm glad that I have the opportunity to speak to it. There is a man from Nimba. I don't know his name.
You have 2 minutes on the clock for you.
Pardon me?
We have 2 minutes for you, so go ahead and make your case here for 2 minutes.
Okay. Thank you.
2 minutes.
Yeah, so that man was asking Mr. Sherman, why is it that Liberia still have unitary government instead of centralized government? And because he referred to the unitary government as a tool of exploitation for the settlers, Americo-Liberians, Congos, or Congoi. They use this unitary government to strip the counties of their political, socio-economic powers. And he was referring to Nimba Mountain, Nimba County, which was one of the richest iron ore facilities. And how that facility came to an end without a penny being accrued or given to the county, and made references to many other undertakings that were used against the natives as a protective shield for the settlers. So he asked, will there be an opportunity for a centralized government? And the reply that Mr. Sherman gave was erroneous, and so I want to say that that reply was not a correct reply. He said that do not blame the settlers. Blame Samuel K. Doe. He changed the central government into.
You have 1 minute left.
So what I'm saying here, Doe never changed any unitary government to, any central government to a unitary government. There has never been a central government since the foundation of Liberia, from 1847 up to the present. Unitary government, a form of unitary government has been used as a tool of exploitation by those who were in power and who are still in power, some of them still in power. And there were efforts made to institute a centralized government for the interests of Liberians, but this was never allowed. So I was surprised for Mr. Sherman to say that it was Doe who initiated unitary government, and it's not the Congos to whom this gentleman made a reference yesterday. He said the unitary government was also used to deprive the native from voting, and so no native man or voting record for native men until 1945. You see, so Mr. Sherman was wrong for accusing someone who was innocent for the unitary government. And so I'm saying this in order to make the listening public aware. Yeah, because communication on radio has an overriding power. For example, a man called Cty on LBS radio pronounced R-U-M-O-R or M-O-U-R English pronunciation as rumor instead of rumor. And many Liberians have pronouncing the word rumor instead of rumor. So I'm making this correction so that people will not blame Samuel Doe of instituting the unitary government. The unitary government was used as a tool, as an instrument of exploitation, and it is still in use today.
Thank you for that.
So let's try to make every effort to institute the centralized form of government.
Thank you. Thank you for your history, giving us a little bit of background on our country. That was just a comment, and we're great. You don't have to touch that. I said if you want to, but that's totally up to you. So let's take the next one. The next one should come from caller 0853. Your name and where you got it from?
Well, thank you, Mr. Moderator. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you on your program.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to thank our honorable from Liberia, Honorable Acarous Gray, and I decided, I always tune into your program, but it's more interesting because this brother, I'm going to meet the person when I come to Liberia. Not just being a representative, but he is a representative of the district I came from.
He's in the House of Representatives, District number 8. He must write a comment.
Yeah. I'm from District number 8. I'm from Buzi Corner, and he controls the Solomon and that whole area, Silver area. But to be very frank, Honorable Gray, Look, I'm just tired of hearing your rhetoric in Liberia. I'm not one of the honorary callers that are going to call here and can't praise you because they say you bark a lot. And I've heard a lot about you, Honorable Gray, and I love your courage. But most of you guys are rhetorical. They're just bark like bulldogs with no teeth. You've talked a lot in Liberia since you took over. And let me tell you, I've been tracking you. I know you have done a very good job when it comes to advocacy, but I'm talking about those things that touch the lives of people. My name is Hon Acarous. Don't take it personal. Let's look at the intellectual issue. There's a brand, there's a debater. I'm not going to be personal. But you haven't really done enough for what you represent. You have not done enough. You have not done enough instead of a lot of talking. I would want you to point out to me specifically those things that were your platform when you ran for district number 8. I'm saying against the background that the guy you ran against was more practical than you. I'm telling you. The footprints are still there. And don't come back telling me, say, I didn't have millions of dollars. I didn't expect you to have millions of dollars because you're just a poor little teacher. Even American teachers are poor. But you have not been practical. You have been talking a lot. So now, I want you to tell me specifically things are practical because I'm coming to Liberia and I'm going to challenge you. Things are practical that you have done in Busekora, Soniwe, and entire constituents. I want you to point those things out to me because I want to community leader over there.
Let me get the question right. When you say challenge, are you asking in what format? Challenging him in a election?
Well, I will challenge him in terms of what he's going to tell me. Particularly, I've touched the life of people in his constituents. That is going to give him the opportunity once again to serve another 6 years. So I'm saying he's going to tell us publicly what he has done that have changed the life of people. I want you to tell me about infrastructure development, social development, the drainages, the toilets. But I don't tell me about the future. Thank you. And if I'll come on with recommendation.
Honorable Gray, take it away.
Yeah, I guess you said that you lived in Busekora before. All right, so let me reference Busekora. The school in Busekora a year ago, when the storm came and took the roof off, and the students could not almost complete, it was show my lot of skill that the roof was placed back on the school in Busekora. And you talk about the drainage in Busekora, it's very terrible. And the drainage is the biggest drainage in Liberia. And it takes millions of dollars to that drainage. It doesn't only run within Busekora. It comes on Maple Street. We placed some money in the budget for that. The last budget, not this budget that was just passed. The government argued that there was a shortfall in terms of revenue generation. So there was some impediment in terms of paying the drainage in its totality. But it takes millions of dollars to put that drainage to its full capacity. But what did I do with many drainages in Busekora area? I made it my duty to encourage the people of Busekora, especially the youth, and another group that is sanitation work. If you go to my Facebook page, you can see we went to help clean the drainage there. Most of the many drainages. Another thing, probably, I don't know when you came to the United States of America, but before my induction into office, Busekora had no electricity. I committed myself to living an advocacy, and today you can boast of electricity in Busekora. The records are available. So those are tangible evidence that you can walk with, you sleep with, and live with for your life. I do not want to make a comparative analysis with my predecessors. But in 2 years, what we've done, if we make a comparative analysis, I don't know which bills my predecessors presented that you can name on this program today in terms of lawmaking. I don't know which advocacy
that affected the livelihood of District Number 8, Montserrado Cty, that our predecessor had, that you could name on this program today. So I have gone through here, yes, in terms of my political commitments, I fulfilled some, and some are yet to be fulfilled because I have 4 more years to go and 2 months. I said we have a reading room in the district. If we don't have a land, we'll ask the school for a space. I'm in the United States of America now collecting books to open a reading room. I committed to have offices in our district. As I speak to you, there is ongoing construction and renovation of offices in Number 8, Montserrado Cty. One in the Plum area and another one in the Bassa community where you had a spot for the Palawa Hall. So those are some of the commitments that I made to my people. Like I said, I didn't tell my people that I will construct the entire District Number 8 and automatically change their livelihood. I didn't say that. What I said is what I'm doing, and I remain on course for that. So again, let me appreciate that, and you say you love to challenge me. You can walk in the Booster Quarter. Specifically, I spoke to Booster Quarter. So you can go there, or you can call people in the Booster Quarter and ask whether there is some degree of electricity in Booster Quarter as I speak to you. Whether there was a program that went there to help some of the many units in Booster Quarter. Whether the school there, when the storm took the school top away, whether the school was rehabilitated. You can call them now and ask those questions.
Thank you, Honorable Greg. We're going to go to the caller. Caller, we're going to give you a minute here.
Thank you. A minute is too much. A minute is too much. Thank you, Honorable Greg. But those things you mentioned are just far from reality. Those are not things that impact the lives of the poor Pussy Quarter or the poor electricity, not specifically Pussy Quarter. I have a business in Pussy Quarter. Because of electricity is you look at those schools are right from the street that I like. So don't say I don't like to Pussy Quarter. Don't mention that making business I like, not the poor people that strong. So don't try to fool around here. And when you see construct the offices, don't have their own political endeavors. The offices are not community centers. They are not recreational centers. So when you talk to someone else in America here, sorry I can talk too far, I'm not emotional. Don't think you can play around with. As a community over there, you can't tell me how many toilets you have built over there. You didn't even mention about toilets. They posted shit in plastic bags. I'm always in Monrovia. I'm always in Liberia. Before you took office, I was in Liberia. I serve a community leader for how you call it 603. So I know what you're talking about. So you need to take some tangible things. So I rest my case. But you did not. I just want to challenge you that look, as we look forward to the next 6 years in office, do more practical things that will help the poor. Because political is so natural and dirty. I used to live there when I go, I'm seeing the work that's very unhygienic. So when you talk about the school group, how many children do you go to that school group? Not much. I was a community older, so there's nothing that was very impressive for the time you are staying in office. I think you know, pray. Do your best. I pray for you. I know you're smart. Just do your best. Thank you.
Again, let me say thank you. Let me say thank you.
The brother said that there's no electricity in Booster Quarter, so what do you have to say about that?
My brother, I'm not guessing. If you argue that maybe the cost of electricity is high, I mean, I will concur with him because we are using generators in Liberia, and you know the cost of generators. You know the cost of fuel. I will agree with him. But for you to sit on this program and say that electricity is not in Booster Quarter, then I don't know where he's coming from. Truly speaking, my great friend and distinguished friend, we cannot argue blindly because you disagree with a particular individual. No, we cannot do that. Electricity is, poles are there, electrical lines are there in Booster Quarter. It left with you to pay for your electricity at your home. Okay? And you can call anybody from Booster Quarter, the head of this all-important program, whether electricity is in Booster Quarter. If you see the cost of having the wires at the various homes, some can afford and some will not afford, I will concur with you on that. So this is not a show where you come to mislead the world. There are people all around the world listening to this all-important program. And let me just ask, I hope we could speak to the subject matter, because if we're discussing District Number 8, Then probably I will post some pictures so that you, the host, can see what I have done or what is being done. But we are discussing issues ranging from reputation to corruption. We are talking about the protests that just went on. We're talking about the Ellen Step Down campaign. We're speaking on other issues of national concern. The topic matter is not restricted to District Number 8, Montserrado Cty. So I hope, Mr. Host, you will read the topic again so that our people can be informed. And I do not want to say it's all ignorance that our brother spoke. I do not want to go that route. But unfortunately, I think if he read the topic, he will definitely understand what we are discussing here. We are not just discussing it randomly. We are discussing subject matters. And I hope you can catalog those subject matters so we can stick to the issue and don't misinform the people around the world, because not only Liberians are listening to this all-important program. People all around the world listen to this all-important program. And let me just say thank you very much again, our distinguished host, and I hope you have your listeners and your callers informed on the subject matter. But for somebody to sit in Pluto and argue that electricity is not on Earth or light does not shine on Earth, then it's unfortunate. Then you have to remain in Pluto for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous, Moses Great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liberia Destiny Debaters at Control. My name is Steve of the Second, and we are discussing the resignation of Rabbi Sullivan Nokia, the protest by Mulat and Class Seat against Madam Salif, asking her to resign from the presidency, dual citizenship, TRC report, run is here, reconciliation, nepotism, corruption, unemployment, CDC now and beyond 2014, and decentralization. Please direct your question or focus on, we have to focus in these areas, please. These are the topics we have today. So we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from LB Quarter 0888. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello, my name is Garkan Mowe. I'm calling from Chicago.
How are you, my brother?
I'm okay.
Thanks for holding for almost an hour and 30 minutes.
Yes. Now, these are interesting topics that, concern Liberian like myself, like to put my input on. But I think the representative being on tonight is very important to have our lawmakers on the line to talk to fellow Liberians who are far away from home. Very necessary. But in relation to the issue of corruption, while listening, I'm hearing that the representative is handing out private money, this money to schools and things like that in his district. So with that being said, are all those money being accounted for? Because the whole issue of corruption is so broad in Liberia right now. And we all just talking, but I believe a lot of our representatives, our senator need to be out of there as well, because a lot of them do not report on how those money is being spent. If it is, we the public are not seeing them. Now, my other question, I know we're speaking on the issue of Molad protesting. Hello? Yes, we're speaking on the issue of Molad being protesting Ellen to step down in New York. It's going Tuesday. Now, the representative is supposed to be addressing that. Is he a representative of Molad, or do he support that? And
do you have a question? Are you asking the representative whether he supports that protest against Madam Salif, or what are you trying to say? Direct your question. You have 2 minutes, please.
No. Okay, my question is, are he representing Molad tonight to speak on that issue of what was happening in New York? And in closing, hello?
Honorable Gray is not a member of Molad, but are you asking him whether he supports it or not? Please direct your question. We don't want to take a lot of time because you have 2 minutes. When your time is up, we're going to interrupt you.
Okay. No,
so
okay.
Go ahead with your question, please.
Okay, so in relation to the issue of corruption, is he, because, Molad have a head, so if he's addressing that, is he in support of that as well? That's what I'm asking.
Well, is that the question? Are you asking whether he supports it or he's a member? What is the question? Let me get your question.
Do you have any connection with the organization MOLA? Because one of the topics was MOLA protesting in New York, right? And we're supposed to ask some question in relation to that. Is he a Is he a member, or is he like one of the key sponsors of that organization that held the protest in New York?
Okay, Honorable Great. That's it for you. What is it? What do you have? The gentleman is asking you, are you a member of, are you a supporter of MOLA?
Again, let me be very clear. I think before this question, he raised an issue. And let me address that issue first and foremost. On the issue of funding for my own projects in my districts. And I want to be on record. The government of the Republic of Liberia, for the last 2 years, has funded a project in my district. And that project is the Rachel Nixon School. The money does not come to me because that was placed in the budget. It goes through the school's arrangement. I have nothing to do with that money. All the projects added to what I make are asking funds for other people to help. And how do they help? Take, for example, if I'm constructing the basketball court on SDA High School, and I ask a group to assist, they go to the school, either they do the work or give the money to the school's authority, and they do not give me that money. Okay, that's one. The next question about, you said MOLA. Let me be emphatic because this has been one of the questions since I left Liberia. I'm not a member of any protest group, whether in Liberia or in the diaspora. I have called for President Cty to step down on the basis of the law, the authority that the law gave to me, and that authority is the authority of impeachment. That's the authority of impeachment. So I will not be those who will throw stones and harm my hands. And let me be emphatic. I believe that on the issue of protest, the government, through President Cty, has behaved devilish. I want to repeat. The government, under the control of President Cty, has behaved devilish to produce a counter-protest in the United States of America of pro-government supporters, and the government itself cannot pamper or encourage domestic protests against corruption, nepotism, and abuse in our country. It's an inherent contradiction. It's a strong irony of situation where there will be pro-government protesters here. The United States government can afford that opportunity to have both anti and pro-government protesters. I think the government of the Republic of Liberia now must take the courage to allow similar events in the political history of our country under this government. The people have the right to protest. Make no mistake. President Cty also protested in the very United States of America. So people have the right to protest. The only right they do not have, and I want to be on record on this, is to create subversion in our country. They don't have that right. They don't have the right to plot the constitution of our country. Yes, they have the right to protest. They have the right to demonstrate. They have the right to call for the president to step down. They can do that. People have called for me to step down. They have the right. So for someone to say that they don't have the right or is chaotic, accept the create chaos. And I will not support any chaos against any regime. Whether it's President Cty-led government or whether it's a future CDC-led government, I will not support chaos because I have no history of armed struggle in our country. But I'm not a member of any one of these groups, and they have the right to protest. I consider an inalienable right to protest. And the government must put up a thick skin. Instead of creating a surrogate group by calling him or calling himself the Movement for the Protection of Peace, if the peace of Liberia is threatened, the government is under moral obligation to provide safety for our people. So we cannot get involved in using state resources using surrogates to abuse state resources, and at the same time cracking down on all the people who have diversion of views. We must be thick-skinned. I have been, my home, people have come to my home to protest against me. I didn't ask people to beat them or crush them down. The government didn't go there to have them arrested. Did they get a permit from the government? They didn't get a permit from the government. A few days ago in Monrovia, did the poor government support got a permit to sit on crying? They didn't get a permit to sit on crying. Okay? So the government of service encouraging true President Salih. A crisis point in the political history of our country. She must fight corruption. She has a moral obligation to battle corruption and nepotism. Somebody may ask that you work in the government. A lot of say that you are critical. Barack Obama, like Honor George Bush Jr., he worked, in the government of George Bush Jr., he was critical about the system. There are people Republicans who are critical about the Obama administration. You see people battling the Obamacare. That is democracy. I'm not the head of state of Liberia, nor am I the head of government. The head of government of a country and the head of state take the greater responsibility for running the country. That is no debate, because it's upon the political manifesto of a particular political institution that the country is being run. So a President Salih political manifesto, as served by Councilor Valley Chairman in his July 26th statement to the nation that they have to do better, they have to revisit. If that manifesto has failed, it's the inalienable right of the Liberian people to rise up to the occasion, not by subverting the government, not by breaking the government down, but by speaking out. And people must speak out through protests. People must speak out through demonstrations. There were demonstrations before Ellen Johnson leaving all the government that she supported. She must pull up thick skin in this process. She must negotiate. She must have conversation with those who are concerned. And not to verify the demonstrators or the protesters. Gone are the days where people will verify people. The Toro regime verified Bago Mafia and President Salih and the rest of the people that they were troublemakers. They cannot come back and use those same tactics of the oligarchs. This is wrong for the power match of our country. We must not use the tactics of the oligarchs and the tyrants that go on in our country. We're talking about democracy. The major component, one of the major components of democracy is where people express themselves, not just by speaking, but by practical actions. Some people are set in actions. Some people boycott programs. Some people have to protest in an orderly manner. State security forces must provide security for them and not to verify them. We cannot export people from Monrovia into the United States of America on state resources. And you say people must not talk about that? No. We will speak. We'll not mince our words, and we'll get back, we'll speak about that. We'll rise up to the occasion. That's why the people like to ask for. So we can't abuse state resources. That is wrong for the power match of our country. And we all must advise our friends in government. We must advise the president. Because it seems to be that around the president there are many cowards who cannot muster the courage and speak truth to power. We need to do that in our country history if we want to move forward. So let me say to you, my distinguished moderator, I'm not a member of any surrogate group. I'm not a member of any protesting group. But when I asked for President Salih to be in the pinch, I was on record. Because the Constitution says, yes, as a lawmaker, you can do that.
Thank you, Honorable Carlos Moses Gray, CDC, District Number 8. Cora, you got a minute for your recommendation or comment here.
Yes, well, thank you for your very lucrative response. And my recommendation to you, I know earlier call was called from California, but first you must learn how to understand how your district works. You must focus your representative work to be focused for that district. Because a lot of, listening to you for over an hour now, a lot of the things seem like you're anti-government, but yet you work in the government. So you either have to be an activist and get out of the government or be a government official, and we supposed to be asking you questions. You supposed to be responsible for all those corruption that's going on in that country. Now, in support of, the dual citizenship, I was at the dual citizenship conference held in Maryland. Your party have to be focused. Now, at that conference, one of your colleagues on the party, Senator Musu, she mentioned that she's not a law. She don't understand the law, but she's making law. That is very bad leadership. If you don't know the law, you're not supposed to be making law in that country. But it's okay. The people elected you into office, but you must know what you're making laws on. You must understand it. Now, your party chairman in the U.S. he anti-door.
Your time is up, sir.
Okay.
Your time is up, so we'll give you 15 seconds to wrap it up. 15 seconds.
Okay, your party chairman anti-dual citizenship, and now you saying you support it. You have to get your party on one accord. It have to be on one ticket. You can be confusing the public. So I'll wrap up with that comment.
Thank you. Honorable Gray, that's it.
That's why I'm make the citizen burden institution. The issue of dual citizenship is not a CDC agenda. I hope you are not getting it wrong. We were elected not only to the political manifesto of the CDC, but also the manifesto of the people in our various districts. That's what we're elected for. And so even if the party chairman says a particular thing, and somebody differ with the party chairman, it does not presuppose that the party is not focused. It's like President Cty appointing George Weah as peace ambassador, and a few Unity Party lawmakers go on there and say that we disagree with the appointment and ask Weah to step down. Does that presuppose that the Unity Party is in disarray in terms of information dissemination? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. So these are elementary issues that are brought to the table probably to verify the Congress of Democratic Change. Okay, a statement by a lawmaker of the CDC or the Unity Party may not necessarily represent the view of that political institution. We should almost be cognizant of. A statement by a Unity Partisan does not mean that it represents the official position of the party. People have their individual opinions that they have to express and view on issues of national concern. So I thought that, and another thing to say that I'm part of the government, yes, I'm part of the government. I'm in a separate and distinct branch of government from the opposition. Not only that, I know my responsibility as a student of political studies. Okay, we must provide alternative. So to say that I will pamper President Cty and begin to clap for her because I work in the first branch of government, I'm not the information minister of the Republic of Liberia. I know my function as a lawmaker. I represent my people, I make law, I have oversight, and I advocate for them. So under the doctrine of advocacy, I can tell you I have the right. And I wait for 6 years, my brother, 4 more years. We can go to election. If you don't love Acarous, you can vote in other office. But the fact of the matter is that we'll hold the feet of President Cty to the fire. Those political commitments she made to the Liberian people, she must fulfill. If she cannot fulfill, we'll speak about that. We're not away from our responsibility, whether we work in government or outside of government. And I think we are in the best position. Since we are in government, we are in the best position to speak against the ills of the system. I think you must encourage us and you must applaud us for the fact that we are within and we are speaking from within. We are not speaking because we are out. So how many persons will muster the courage to speak against the system? How many persons can do that around the world? So let us all encourage each other. There will always be diversion of views. So the president must have rules. She committed herself in 2011 to the people of our country. On the basis of that platform, she's in power today. So she must execute to the latter the political commitment and the platform she presented to the Liberian people.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous. Was this great, ladies and gentlemen, and those of you who are listening, joining us from Liberia and around the world, we say welcome to Liberia, Destiny Debaters. And those of you who are also joining us from the members of the government today or tonight, we say thank you very much for tuning in to Liberia, Destiny Debaters. Honorable Gray, we're going to go ahead and take our next call. The next call will come from caller 8672. Your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you. My name is Jacob Eway. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Montserrado, for having me. Thank you, Honorable Gray, for being on the show. My question for you is, I mean, as a private citizen of Liberia, I've been concerned. I mean, we are all aware of the situation of corruption and all the ills in society in Liberia, but I'm kind of concerned that CDC sometimes has been occasionally linked to, I mean, issues that are not compatible with sometimes the goal of the institution. Like we all disagree that corruption is rampant in Liberia, but encouraging people on mass demonstration on the street of Monrovia when you don't know what the consequences will be will not be my ideal situation. And with that said, my question is, I know the CDC, the USA branch official, has said on the same show about a few weeks ago that the organization, he said we support it. So when he said we support them, my assumption was CDC supported the demonstration in New York at the United Nations. By that, I was wondering, does it mean the CDC was actually in the planning process of that demonstration, or is just the moral support, or the organization has the right, or those that were engaged in that demonstration had the right as private citizens of Liberia to carry on that demonstration? I know you have said as a private citizen you supported them and you think they have the right. But my question to you is, was CDC or how you call it engaged in that process or planning of that protest? And if not, how is it that CDC of USA seems to be saying something different and CDC of Liberia is saying something different? Thank you very much.
Let me say to you first and foremost, what I say, I'm very careful. I don't say I support the protesters. I hope you get me right. I don't say I do support the protesters. I say they have the rights. That's what I said.
Okay.
There's a difference between when people have the right and whether you support them. There are two differences. I told you what I did. On the issue of the CDC, if you go to Front Page Africa, the Secretary General has issued a position of the CDC. Okay, that the CDC is not part of any protest or demonstration. The position of the CDC is on Front Page Africa online.com. Individuals within the CDC or any political institution have the right. What of civil society? Mind you, the Constitution of Liberia is bigger than any law in our country. So for the chairman of CDC USA to form part of a protest, and that is interpreted as a CDC protest, is unfortunate. In logic, we call that non sequitur. It means it does not follow. For somebody to say because Valentine belongs to the VAR people, therefore everyone lives in Valentine VAR, it's a logical fallacy. So the persons of VAR-Toba, I say VAR-Toba, so to speak, at the protest, to me that is a CDC protest or CDC endorses a non sequitur. It's also a logical fallacy. So the CDC has not issue a position statement of supporting a protest action. But individuals have the right. Like I was speaking to someone, I said, look, one of my friends in the legislature asked for ambassador, we have to step down. I speak ambassador after President Cty had appointed. And he's a strong executive of the Unity Party. He launched an unsuccessful campaign. Does not presuppose that President Cty was the standard bearer of the Unity Party. The Unity Party, it was the official position of the Unity Party. That's the question. I disbelieve that. Like, I disbelieve that the presence of any leader of the CDC in the protest action means that the CDC is part of a protest action. So we got to look above logical fallacy and not split up and address the issues. We got to look at that. Okay? So let me say to you again that the CDC, for all readers and indication, the CDC is not a part of the questions of our hands. When the CDC want to protest, I can guarantee you the CDC will make an official position that we are going to protest. And a protest by the Congress for Democratic Change is not ordinary. You know the history of the Mali Congress for Democratic Change, the biggest political institution in terms of numerical strength in the Republic of Liberia, in the absence of a coalition. The CDC has manifested that. So the CDC is not a baby party that throws things in our hands. I can say that to you. If the CDC wants to protest, you will see me in the vanguard and the forefront. We are not bad off. But we are just saying, some of us, I'm not saying the position of the CDC. I'm about saying we, probably he meant the protesters and not the Congress for Democratic Change. Okay, so if CDC wants to protest, I can guarantee you, my brother, I will not shy away. We don't mix our words in the Congress for Democratic Change. So are you saying that President Cty was the one that paid the poor government people that came to protest? Is that what we are paying? There were poor government people in the streets of Monrovia a few days ago, the last 42 hours on crying, led by Montserrado Cty, a group calling ourselves the Movement for the Protection of Peace. There were obstructions in the city of Monrovia in terms of traffic congestion and movement on the quarry, right opposite, right near Power TV. So what can you say about that? Was that not disturbance? Was that not obstruction? Was that not violation of the traffic rules? Those are violations. And the protest and the government try to deny them of their rights. You see a law by the Supreme Court of Liberia. You know what President Cty could not protect the 1985 after the coup as a result of the jungle justice. You know the history of that? Those are the same laws that they are using against the citizens of Liberia today. Those laws that bound them. Those Supreme Court decisions that were taken that forbade them from protesting. Those are the same laws that they are using against the people of the Republic of Liberia. Is that not being draconian? That is being draconian. Is that not being sycophantic or ironic? It's being ironic. We have to rise up to the occasion, my brother, and speak truth to power. And I must commend Mr. Alfred Vatoba for his courage and determination. I must commend him. He has his right. Though I disagreed with any protest action that will undermine the government or plot the government unconstitutionally. I don't believe his intention, the intention of those people in the United States of America, their intention is to plot or shortcut the existence of the government. I don't believe that. You know what it means to have Kwanga in a protest? You know what it means to have a door in a protest? It's a dangerous kind of reconciliation in our country history. We are visionary. We are looking beyond. We are not looking at the ordinary. It's dangerous to reconciliation. It shows that President Cty has failed to reconcile our country. Even in the midst of the Kwamba family, commit support domestically to the presidency of President Cty. And his family was in a protest against her, dealing with the Doe family, to help the campaign process of President Cty. And they are protesting against her today. They are not seditionists. They have no history of supporting the Congress for climate change. What does that say to you when your supporters stand against you? Why the argument cannot be that President Cty supporters that stood frantically against her? They are not supporters of the CDC. So why should Alva be vilified? Why should he be vilified? There's injustice, in my opinion, in my belief. We must look at the bigger picture. Our country is not reconciled. You see the expression of those who are protesting. Look at the composition of those who protested, my brother. Let us rise up to the occasion and speak truth to power. The president has to go beyond. She has to set up a team to understand the plan and concern of these people. What do they want? Let us not mislead our leaders. Chancellor was misled. He entered in the Hague. Samuel Doe again was misled. You saw what happened. Do the cowards around President Cty want to mislead her? Do you know what to say to us at night? Do you know how many persons now feel that the government time will end very soon in terms of 2017? And even the Unity Party image could be damaged on the basis of the upward of President Cty? Do you know how many persons are trying to join the mighty Congress of Democratic Change? Do you know how many people come clandestinely like Nicodemus at night? I have asked them to take the courage and advise the madam and tell the madam that the country is not being run properly. There are some of our friends who are closer to her who cannot speak because they are afraid they could be dismissed. But you must join the cause and speak to her, not to overthrow the government. We do not support overthrow any government in our political history. So again, my brother, let me say thank you very much that I didn't say that I support the protesters. And I hope that we will not verify individuals because some of the very protesters were supporters of President Cty or her cause.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous Moses Gray. Conrad, go ahead and give your recommendation or comment to Honorable Gray here.
Okay, I don't have recommendation. I just have a statement. Honorable, thank you very much for responding to my question. And just for the record, I don't think my inquiry was a fallacy because it was not a statement of mine. It was an inquiry into the ongoing issue of Liberia. So I don't think I was making an assumption. So my concern is I don't think my concern was out of place because the CDC official in the U.S., we consider him to be the representative of that organization here. So when he speaks, I mean, I don't think something wrong with inquiring whether he's speaking as an individual citizen or he's speaking as the leader of CDC in the United States. So I just want to clarify that. And I think you're on the right track. I mean, we all can agree to disagree. You're doing the job you're supposed to do. Keeping the government in check, and the high progress will come about in Liberia. So we all might not agree on the course of action, but either way, something needs to be done in Liberia. Some of us just beg your indulgence. At least you do it constructively instead of destructively. Thank you very much, and enjoy your stay in the United States.
Thank you very much. Hello?
Yes, we are here, Honorable Gray.
Yeah, thank you very much. And like you said, we must do it constructively than destructively. I can guarantee you that some of us will do it constructively, and we will not revert to Butu and Kample the 1989 of December. Personally, I will not be a part of anything that will revert to Butu and Kample.
Thank you, Honorable Gray. Honorable Gray, we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from code 7786. Your name and where you call it from.
My name is Jerry Wedgie Winger. I'm the Executive Director and Producer of the authoritative and informative Liberian African News Service, based here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. Representative Gray, I salute you, first of all. I follow your activities. I salute you for your courage. I salute you for what you stand for, your principles you advocate. I think you are a man of integrity, and I wanted to note that from the beginning. I was on a program on Liberia Destiny Debaters with the Information Minister, Louis Brown, last week, shortly before the UN protest. I raised an issue about Ellen Sirleaf, maybe before you got elected to the House. There was a story in 2010 concerning a $1 million scandal from the National Bank into Echo Bank with a copycat account of the same account number that the president has at Echo Bank. And these people went and copied the format of that letter. Where they got the letterhead from, nobody knew. But they opened a similar account at the bank and deposited $1 million there. And later on, the next day they withdrew $800,000. The governor of the central bank at the time was not in Liberia. When he got back, he took a look at the particular letter in question. So he called a news conference. He said, well, the reason, this letter didn't raise a red flag because we have received similar instructions from the president through the same channel from the president to former finance minister, deputy finance minister, revenue, Frida Stewart, and to the former deputy governor of the central bank, now ambassador to Germany, Hector Davis. He said, we had already, through that triangle of directives, we had already transferred U.S. $10 million into the president's account at Echo Bank. I raised the issue. I think this issue warrants to be looked into. You in a better position now as Speaker of the House of Representatives. Records are there. Would you want to look into that? Because the president has no authority to transfer our money into a private bank account unless it is approved and authorized by the legislature. So I want to bring that to your attention if you want to look into that matter.
I follow the development to some extent. People were arrested. Subsequently, there were court action. I have to follow up on that. It's something that you're refreshing my mind on. And I have to follow on that. When I get back home, I will want to know how far the matter is in court. I would love to follow up on that because we must know where the personal letterhead came from and who are the persons behind it. because a lot of Abrahams were being raised at a critical juncture. There were widespread rumors. I do not want to dwell on rumors here today. So let me say I will try to make a follow-up on it. And you see why now people have been raising concerns on corruption in our country. And that's one of the justifications you provided why people are raising concerns on corruption. This president has said, the Liberian president has said she will submit a bill to create a fast-track court for Liberia. Years have come and gone. She's yet to present that court, that bill to create a fast-track court for Liberia where corruption cases can be speedily tried. And she yet to do that. Those commitments were made in the State of the Nation address, more than 2 different State of the Nations address. So let me say that I'll have to make a follow-up on it. And I cannot comment or follow on this subject matter until I make a follow-up on it, because if I speak, I should speak for an informed position on this matter.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Because the information minister was saying was denying anything of that nature ever happened in Liberia. You are challenging me.
What I don't know is that there was the president, it was alleged, the president's signature was forged, and such amount of money, such huge amount of money was being transferred. I echoed them in Liberia specifically. Yes, I knew about that. Okay, and then those who were involved, I think few of them were arrested. How far the case is, I think that's the issue you want to know. So probably the information minister or opposition to President Salih, but then he could remember. But saying that he support the cause, he will not remember. So don't blame him for that.
Thank you.
Corey, you have 30 seconds because you have your 2 minutes. We're giving you 30 seconds.
Yeah, my recommendation has to do with the right of citizens to protest, you know. They're saying people who protest. They are friends of mine. I used to live on Staten Island. I used to work for Associated Press in New York and live on Staten Island. There were friends of mine that came over there that were paid by the government. They told me, they said, when you keep going against every government, you're going to go broke. We have been paid to come out here and protest. I got money in my pocket at $300. One of my friends, what you're telling me. The other friend said he refused. He said, when they offer me the money, but I will not go protest for Ellen. You know? So people can sit there and say, well, people, what? Under the Constitution, the people have the right to protest. This is what we are saying. The people have the right to protest. As you said correctly, I just read on the news, there are people, Musa Ability, organizing people to protest for Ellen, you know, and the block the traffic in Monrovia. If opposition people had gone in the street now and said, oh, we protest and we're calling for Ellen resignation, they would brand them all kinds of names. They would give them all kinds of names. But what right have they others to protest? And then others who want to protest against president, why would they not have the same right to do that? So support those who want to protest. That's their constitutional right, and I agree with you that you are advocating for them. They have that right to protest, and that's just all I have to say. Thank you very much, Representative Ray. Great. We follow your activities. Keep up the good works. You know, many of us here admire you from afar.
Thank you very much for the commendation. And like you said, if pro-government people can protest in the United States of America and anti-government people can protest, then why shouldn't we allow our people to protest in an orderly manner in our country? So you can see that to even use Mr. Ability, who the government chose to go after, to organize pro-government people. And believe me, when the president is returning, the city will be chaotic in terms of the manner and form in which pro-government supporters will take to the street. I want you to watch that.
Thank you, Honorable Gray. We're gonna have 20 more minutes in this program tonight because it's almost about 10:30 on the East Coast. So we're gonna have 20 more minutes, and then we'll call it.
Yeah, let me advise that 20 minutes will be good for me because I have other activities here, and I had a program actually about 10:30. I thought we would have been through by now.
Thank you, sir. So we're going to take the next one. The next one will come from caller. We're just going to go around the list here and see which one we will take here. Let's take our caller here. We just made a call here. But if we don't take your number, please bear with us because we have 20 minutes left on the show tonight. So we're going to take caller 6105. Your name and where you calling?
Hello?
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 Yep.
Welcome to the show tonight.
Oh, sorry. My name is Anthony Aronze. I'm calling from Minnesota. I want to thank you so much for your programs, and I also want to thank your guests for taking your time out to be on your program. It's a good thing if we all can come together to talk about the good of our country. I don't mean to play down on your guests, but I just want to figure out I want to have a little bit of dialogue with him before the actual question. How well is he informed about the Liberia Constitution? Maybe 100%, 90%?
Is that the question, Honorable Grace?
How I'm informed?
Yep, by the Liberian Constitution.
I will encourage you to ask a question.
My question is going to be around that area.
What part of the Constitution?
Well, you can ask a question that I will respond. It's not a dialogue.
What article are you talking about?
Okay, all right. We don't need to debate about that. Okay, the reason I'm saying this is this. I know you know the Constitution very well. I don't mean to play on you. What I want to say this is, every time government official come on this show, being elected officer or appointed officer, sometimes the issue of PRC report come up. And most of the time they tell the audience that because some of the recommendations within that PRC report undermine our Constitution. Now, the government of Liberia has spent $49.9 million to lobby it around. It's so surprising that some of our government leaders, official leaders, and even appointed leaders not even informed about it. $49.9 million to lobby it in Washington, D.C. in promotion of the government of Liberia. And not just Washington, D.C. alone, even in Europe. And nobody could come out with that article to the State Department. United States State Department brought out under the Justice Ministry, and they lay it down. Everything is break away, unless it break apart, regarding how much they spent 2008, 2009, up to 2010, in fact, up to 2011, just to promote the image of the government of Liberia, when we are living under one day. And they came out. The U.S. government came out and said, look, this is even against the Constitution of Liberia. And if I cannot hear any representatives or senators...
You have 1 minute. You have 1 minute on the clock.
Yeah, this is very important. Hold on. If I cannot hear any representative or even senators or elected officers to talk about this, but we always say, because the TRC report undermines the Constitution of Liberia, and when the government of Liberia is violating the Constitution of Liberia, that's the problem. And people are elected into offices to be able to speak out for the country. So when I asked the question, where are you informed, I did not mean to really play on you. What I was trying to actually get to was this particular area that our Constitution has been undermined. Okay, undermined. What is your take on this? What actually is your take on this? Okay, if we cannot implement the TRC report because we feel that the TRC report kind of undermine our Constitution, and the government of Liberia is lobbying around, spending $49.9 million, undermining the Constitution of Liberia. We can't talk about it. What is your take?
Let me again say to you that for me, I have not been able to see the culprit of the man that you're talking about. And I've been one of those who have accused the president of having series of trips abroad and believing that some of these letters may not just be ordinary. So if you have that document in your possession, you can forward it to the chief moderator of the Destiny Debater. I hope he can be able to give you a contact, and you can email it to me. Or after the show, you could call him up, and I want to see the document authenticated. then I could start from there, because the way I operate, my modus operandi, is not just to level accusations. It's also to have premium facie in my possession. So I'm sorry to say that I have not been able to see that. But on the issue of the TRC report, my position has been very clear on that, on the implementation of the recommendations. Those who have problems with certain provisions in terms of the recommendations could go to court at the Supreme Court and challenge it. They have the right to do so. Like some provisions of the recommendations were being challenged. But I believe with all the TRC recommendations being implemented, there are a lot of brilliant things in the TRC recommendations. But who should implement the recommendation? That's the question. It's the president that should. So the president also was indicted. So the one who should be executed or implemented by the act creating the TRC is the one that is being accused. So you see the paradox there. So you see the irony in it. So I can understand that will be challenged. Maybe future government will do that, because there is a legislation. It's a legislation that created the TRC. So it's an act of legislation. But on the issue of lobby, I hope I can get the document. I need the premium facie. If you give the document to me, you see what we do. So that I really need it. I mean, I've never had access to it.
Thank you, Cora. You have 30 seconds because your 2 minutes. It's of your 2 minutes, so we'll give you 30 seconds, and we're going to take one more call. And
okay,
Honorable Gray will go ahead and I point again.
All right, thank you so much. We don't need to say after the city. If you have a computer right now, I just want you to just Google, because it's under the State Department website. You can just Google $49.9 million spent by the Liberian government on lobby activity. It will link you.
Okay.
It will link you straight to the State Department. It's under the State Department Justice side. They list country by country, and Liberia became the highest so far. And they even said that it's even against. Personally, I didn't know that part of our Constitution. To be honest with you, was the State Department.
No, but let me say to you, under Article 5C of the Liberian Constitution, it talks about preventing abuse of public funding, 5C of the Constitution. We should prevent that. As other true legislation we should do that. Okay? So if somebody used for the $9 million United States dollars for these years on lobby, I believe that is an abuse of Article 5C of the Liberian Constitution. I believe so. There's no way we should abuse the resources of our country. But I will make the research, and I want to make the research.
Right.
I will do that. I will do the research.
You can do it right now. But I mean, as I said earlier, I don't mean to play down.
I'm not near a computer. I mean, I was traveling. I'm not near a computer.
All right, great. And most of the money actually came from Maritime. Okay, you will see it's listed though. It's just listed. So, but next.
Okay, it's a news. I mean, it's a big news for me, and I won't pretend to say that I've seen it. But I'll go there to make the research. Thank you very much for the information.
Thank you. All right, I think that's all.
Thank you, Honorable Gray. Honorable Gray, we're going to take one more call here because it's late to your era. So, caller, your number is 9084. You have 2 minutes on the clock.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I just want to ask Honorable Gray, even though he's not in the judiciary branch of the government. I want to ask my question on.
What is your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm Vafli Sharif calling from New Jersey.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Honorable, I just want to ask on the CA issue, the Editor General of the Front Page newspaper, his incarceration. The fine level against Mr. Sear from the court, I feel that fine was too exorbitant for him to really pay to get himself free out of this thing. Because if you look at newspaper in Liberia, we had a newspaper in Liberia that we were operating, and it was all being paid for at the amount of $500, and we're operating from that budget. So if you found somebody $1.something million to pay as a fine for let's say tarnishing somebody's reputation, it's just too excessive for him to pay that bill. Or was it meant actually to shut down the paper and throw him in jail? Or or it was just something that the government feel that he was too much for the government, so they should just shut him down and throw him in prison. Can you just comment on that, even though you're now with the judiciary branch or you don't work as Supreme?
Yeah, I want to respect first and foremost the highest court decision, because in a country where we disrespect the highest court decision, it could lead to chaos. But at the same time, I disagree with that. The decision, in my opinion, was very harsh. And I've expressed that opinion before. But at the same time, I cannot disrespect the Supreme Court, the highest court in our country. I cannot disrespect. But I strongly believe that the decision, the punitive measure against our brother, it was very harsh. And before I left Liberia, I spoke about it on that day when I came into the United States of America. I believe, first and foremost, many friends have called me, and we need to look at the laws of our country on that matter of rather, or how you may call it. I believe that we have to either repeal such a provision or amend those provisions. And I've been speaking to some lawyers and some friends. Some work is ongoing on that because they are using the law. But the irony is this again, and I keep using the word irony. During the period of William V.S. Tubman, similar event occurred, I think Tubman or Tubman, if I'm not mistaken. So the laws that were met on the book, those laws were declared by those who lead our country today at the highest level, has been harsh, has been draconian. But those are the very laws they are using today to punish our people. Take, for example, the Supreme Court decision on protest. It is. Take, for example, the Supreme Court decision on protest. That's the very law that President Cty went against using today. The issue of $1.5 million, where will Rodney say take that money from? I have called on the president to use her influence on the former agriculture minister to drop the case against Mr. Cty. Because what it has done for Liberia, it has shown a dent in the free press system of our country. It has shown a dent. It undermines President Cty's quest to have a free press in our country. Yes, people can analyze that probably the situation, probably the former agriculture minister was only used to front. People could say that, but what became of the agriculture minister when the former Secretary General of the Unity Party? Why didn't he take the former Secretary of the Unity Party to court for damaging a reputation? He wrote a dossier against him on corruption and presented it to President Salif. Rodney said published the document. Why didn't you go after him? What happened with the money the money for agriculture that was sent at the ministry for usage? What happened to that? What has the government done with the report from the GSC, the audit report? What has the Justice Ministry done? It's even bizarre for the Information Minister and the Justice Minister to defend and go against the GSC reports. What's the sincerity of fighting corruption in our country? Is the court for the rich or for the poor? That's the question we should ask. So I believe, in my conviction, that there are people just being used because the strategy now is to say, look, the government is not going after individuals, but probably former government officials a current government official, because even Rodney said, you know that the head of the Freeport, the managing director, has a case, similar $1 million case against Rodney Cty. So what can you say about that? Probably after the two cases, there will also be the case from the managing director at the Freeport of Monrovia. So one could safely argue that it's a tacit attempt to crumble front page Africa. One could say that. One could say it's a tacit attempt to intimidate the editorial staff, writers, and reporters of front page Africa, not to be critical. I want to jail in Liberia on the charges of sedition, looting, holding gun, illegal possession of gun, of firearm and drugs. That was a tacit attempt to quiet me down. But it isn't all of my quest to stand up to power and speak truth. People don't want me to be inducted into office. I will release on Christmas Day. It's unprecedented on the Sunday. So all of these strategies and tactics are the old tactics of past regimes. And I can understand the situation. Yes, the law is in terms of punitive measure is very harsh. And Rodney Cty can live to the next 200 years. He cannot pay that money. I can speak to that. Okay, in all of this administration, newspapers have been closed down. You know the history of the Nuggles Gate. You know the history of November 7, 2011. When electronic media houses were being closed down by state security forces. When tapes were being seized. You know about that? So that was a crackdown on the press itself. But my brother, let me say to you, yes. We got to look at the laws on the book. I think that's the way out, to look at the laws on the book. But I empathize with Mr. Sid. I sympathize greatly with his condition. I understand the stress that he's undergoing. It's only a reflection on President Sally went to jail at the Silver Beach. She was charged for sedition. I can understand the situation. We all went there, we went through it. So you can see it's a repeat. It's a tacit repeat of history in a new form, in a modified form. That's what I can say. A repeat of the draconian arrangement in past administration in a modified form. That's what you can see. And using those very laws that the dracos of our country use, people who are described as tyrants and dictators, the very laws they use are the laws that this administration is using. So what can you say about that? We have to look at those laws. And I think that I must encourage all Liberians. It's not only Rodney said today. I challenge the president to ask Mr. Toll, because I believe she has influence over him, to back off. How long will you have Rodney Cty behind bars? How many persons will go behind bars again after Rodney Cty? These are the critical questions. Star Radio was closed down. Veritas almost crumbled. You know the records. If you are not pro-government, probably you may not get sponsorship from government acts. You know about that. So these are troubling times in our political history of our country. We all have to rise up to the occasion and ensure that our country does not revert to the bloody past. We have to push the peace and protect the peace and security of our country. We need to do that, and to protect it, the leadership itself will have to rise up to the occasion and live above petty gossip or disagreement with people.
Thank you, Honorable Grace. Caller, we're giving you 30 seconds for a recommendation here. We have to go. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable. I just want to let the Edlin government know that this government is a 21st century government. Right now, there's no way that we today as Liberians will go back, to the 80s or the 90s. We expect this government to deal with situation in Liberia accordingly, and we will not support anything draconian of that nature. And we all speak from the point of analysis that actually that decision was too draconian, as you said, and there are better ways that they could solve that problem instead of putting such a ceaseless fine on a young man to shut down his business. we all know in a democratic process, issues are being taken care of through the court system, and the court should be reasonable enough to fund businesses according to the budget in which they are operating. So, as a senator, being part of the government, as a representative, being part of the government, I would like for you to really push forward the Ellen government, as to some of the things that are going on in our place. We following it closely, and we want her to do, the government to do the right thing. She's the president. Whatever happened over there in the judicial branch or the executive branch, everything will fall on her. So whatever decision they took on Mr. Sear, it can be revised, so that it can set the young man free. So that's all I have to tell you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Great. Thank you very much, and go ahead and give us a closing statement tonight.
Again, those of you who I grew to this all-important discourse today, let me say thank you very much for the agreements and the disagreements. I'm very open to criticism of what I do or what I say. I'm very much open to that. And I believe tolerance is the hallmark to success. Again, let me state to the last caller that I repeat that I respect the decision of the Supreme Court because it's the highest court in our land. And if we begin to disrespect the Supreme Court, then things could become chaotic in our country. But at the same time, the decision was very harsh. I've made my position known, and the way in my opinion, is to look at the laws. And again, I want to use this occasion to call on the president to intervene, and as the former agriculture minister to have this release. I know on this call today we have many persons on the cycle of government on this call today, and so to the silent listeners who could not participate back home in Monrovia and maybe in the diaspora, I hope all that was said here will not be misinterpreted. But Liberia is our common patrimony, and we must protect the peace and security of our country. At the same time, protecting the peace and security of our country does not presuppose that we must not speak against the ills of our society. And I would love to also call upon the president to immediately disassociate herself from those pro-government supporters, what I call surrogate groupings in Monrovia led by Mr. Benedict and other people. This will not be a freaky, Madam President. If your people are listening to this, money will be spent, and those state resources will be spent in the process. Yes, so we got to resist from creating surrogate groups when other people disagree with us. We have to respect the views of other people. And the best thing to do, Madam President, if you are listening today, or if your people are listening, because they will relay this to you once Acarous is on the line, and you have to listen to the people, because it's that version of views that makes you a good leader. So not to say I'm not listening to them. And again, to the designated debater, I say thank you very much for affording me this opportunity. I'm very much open at any point in time once I have the time. And I hope that during my stay in the United States of America, if there are any concerns you have, I will be able to avail myself again. But again, I say bravo to you for being very independent, and I hope that media institutions will cooperate your example and don't compromise the interests of the Liberian people, no matter what the case is. So I say bravo to you. I appreciate everything you've done today, and to all those who also supported me, these are those who oppose my concern and those who provide recommendations. I say thank you very much. This is the Liberia we intend to build. And in closing, finally, let me say, I believe this is the freedom, the unlimited freedom in the scope of the law that over 250,000 Liberians died for. So we must provide that freedom to all people, and we must not revert to jungle justice or chaos. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Acarous, Moses Gray. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liberia Destiny Debaters, and all of you who join us tonight, including government officials listening tonight, and those of you joining us around the world. We say thank you very much for joining us, and we totally apologize for those of you who were not able to talk to Honorable Gray tonight or ask any questions or make recommendations to him. We hope to bring Honorable Gray on sometime soon. Honorable Gray, it was epic and informative having you on. We wish you good luck and enjoy your stay in the United States.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night to you all.